Calling all units, calling all units. Donut Shop has a fresh dozen. Go ahead and take a 1040.
I think we're just going to go right into it. Salute my brother, the viral sensation, Officer Washington.
Cheers.
I like to call him Ray. Have you seen the episodes where he talks about you got to look each other in the eye when you're drinking?
No.
Kind of makes me feel weird. Yeah, so I'm looking at you and you're looking at me like, what's he looking at?
Why is he staring at me? It's an important thing to do. It saves you 7 years of bad sex.
It's
I said it already.
It's a Broward thing, I guess.
Yeah,
but you're Broward as well.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. What's up, guys? It's Nick from Nick Off Duty.
And Justin from Florida.
And we got a very special guest. I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Raymon Washington.
That's it.
I work for the City of Miami Police Department.
All right out of the gate. So you're a police officer.
Yes, I am.
You're a viral sensation.
Yeah.
For two reasons. Two reasons. And I want to get into that. I want to make this podcast all about it because it's an awesome story, what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, not initially, but how everything came full circle and came back around. It's a good story. It's the first that I've heard with everything going on. If you guys don't know, there was a viral video out during everything that's been going on with COVID 2020, I guess in general. Officer Washington was involved in an incident, right?
Yep.
On Biscayne Boulevard.
Biscayne and 8.
The video heard around the world that Miami don't play.
Yep.
Miami handles business.
That really was one of them because it was right around the first instances of large protests, and then there was a lot of scenes of places on fire, looting and stuff like that. So this was just after
right
one
at
of
the beginning when everything started.
Yeah.
They just burned down, I think, Minneapolis.
Yeah, one of the next major news stories. All of a sudden, clips to a bright and sunshiny day in Miami, and then you just see these cars and
it
off
was.
It goes.
I think we were the first pushback.
Yeah.
I guess
We were
from
the
all
first-
all
the
over
first
the
pushback.
nation. It was just news about the police getting their cars on fire and stations overran and everything. And then there's
Retail stores getting looted and
then there was no police response to that. And I think we were the first response, and it went over at first because our boys, hey, what's up? What?
Yeah.
They handled it. They were bouncing around. I was like, yeah. Oh, he went hood. He went hood because he's bouncing around. I was like, come on, yeah. Who wants some? You want some? And I'm like, oh man, I don't know how this is gonna be perceived, right? It wasn't you that did that. I'm just saying the officer jumping around the street. I'm like, how's this gonna be perceived? And it went overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
I guess that you just met fire with fire when it came to that because again, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah.
But
why don't we get to know Ray a little bit first?
So that's what we're going to be talking about in the podcast. How about that?
For sure.
So I want to know about you, Ray. I want to know about you. We got a lot of aspiring police officers that listen. I say that every episode, and they turn it up in the car. They're like, "Oh, he's talking about me." So I like to give backstories on how police officers became police officers, and it helps tie in the human part of the officer to know that, hey, I was a person. I still am. At one point, I wasn't a police officer, and this is what I did. So tell me about your upbringing.
So I was born here, you know, in Broward. Long ties, deep ties with family in police work and fire. Played sports my whole life. 3 sports: swam, ran track, played football. Got a football scholarship. Went off to college. Being a cop wasn't anywhere in my mind then. It was just sports.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to college, Becker College in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Worcester, Mass.
Worcester, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Where's that up by?
That's in the hills and about 45 minutes from Boston.
North?
North, yeah.
Cold.
First time I ever saw snow.
I know a guy that was a firefighter there, or that is a
First
firefighter
time I ever saw
there.
snow, it was like 6 feet, and they're like, "Hey, we have practice." I'm like, "I'm going home."
Oh, was it indoor? Or did you do it indoor?
No,
at
it
least?
was outdoor field
Oh my
in the
God.
hills, like the winds, like they were plowing the field while we're walking down there. It was crazy.
Wow. Beautiful. Massachusetts, beautiful.
Yeah.
Cold though.
It's freezing cold.
Cold. Boston PD, great people over there. They treated us like we were one of their own. We went over there for a vlog.
Yeah.
They, hey, what are you guys doing? And we're like, no, we're just visiting from Miami. We're kind of take a tour. Oh yeah, hey, you guys want to come with us for police night out? It was the commissioner, the chief of police.
Oh wow.
And we were like, yeah, we'll go. And then we threw our bags in their convoy, and there was lights and sirens around the whole city, and it was just on a fluke. We were just standing in front of the police station, no police garb or anything. And one thing led to another, and then we were touring. So shout out to Boston PD.
Yeah, I went up there for my 30th birthday, 8 years ago for anybody counting. And just pretty much everybody, not just police officers, but everybody up there was just super nice, super cool.
Yeah, it's a different vibe than South Florida. Like the people there are always genuine. You know, they love to party.
Yeah, we met this guy in Fenway that he was a local Boston, he's from Boston, and we were watching a soccer game in Fenway, and he goes, "It's your birthday? Oh, come on!" Yeah, and he told me what bar they were going to be at. So after the game, we went to this bar and we found him, and hey, there's that guy from the stadium, and then he bought all of our drinks, and I was like, this is amazing. Just some guy that I sat at a stadium with, and I was teaching him soccer because he was really a Boston Red Sox fan.
Good peeps.
Just cool
Peeps.
peeps.
They don't play about the Red Sox or the Patriots.
No.
And I'm a Yankees fan, so that's like their rival. But I keep that to myself. But anyways, so going back, you went to school. Did you go to school for law enforcement, criminal justice?
I studied exercise science, so everything around sports. Like that was my thing.
So you're a fit guy.
I try to be.
You even said that you didn't want any special coffee because you're gonna go work out after this.
I'm gonna try to go work out a little bit later.
Okay. All right. So that's good, man. Keeping it fit's huge.
Yeah.
So, what do you got?
No.
Okay, you're looking.
No. I'm just doing my scans.
Oh, he does the looks with the big. So
we got a little time.
School, no criminal justice.
Nope.
You get out. So what drove you to become a law enforcement officer?
And you came back home.
Yeah, I came back home. My dad was retired cop. My mom worked for Pompano Beach Fire Rescue. That was kind of like the avenue my family always took for careers. So, I got involved with the PFA with Broward County. And
what's that?
What is that?
It's like a mentor program to help young people get into just the field of law enforcement or fire rescue, kind of let you know what you're getting yourself into. And did a couple of ride-alongs with fire, did a couple of ride-alongs with police, and applied. And
did you apply to both, or
I applied to both, and the police called me first.
And now you're like, damn.
So it's kind of like an explorer type posting, but more for public safety in general.
What is
public safety?
What is PFA? Do you remember what it stands for?
Progressive Firefighter Association.
Oh, all right.
So they
let you get near cops, even though it says firefighter.
There was no cops there. It was all really fire based.
Yeah.
And they kind of taught you the interview process. The things you need to do. The ins and outs. Who not to hang out with, who to hang out with. Kind of like a very good mentorship of just law enforcement and police.
That's dope. I didn't know that existed. So PFA.
Yeah, they're actually, I think, starting something up pretty big soon. I think I got like 3 or 4 of my good friends involved in that.
Nice. So, maybe we can get him on, talk a little. That's an interesting guest, man.
Yeah.
His name's Keith Martin. He runs Keith Martin. Yeah.
What up, Keith?
Yeah, it's good because it's like you said before, a lot of aspiring people trying to get into anything in the public safety realm, and there's a lot of do's and don'ts that, especially in the young side of your life, that you got to think about.
And the young side too, and just the experience that those guys have in that room, they kind of give you and let you know what you're getting yourself into.
For sure.
So that way it's not a surprise when you get there.
Right.
I think it's the best thing that they offer.
Yeah, that's what when I was in college for criminal justice, I took a couple of those classes that really they were taught by like a major, like I was at UCF, so they were taught by a major in the police department. So he really gave you those interview techniques and all that stuff. So it's
they had a lot of different avenues. Like through them, I ended up being a lifeguard. Like right before I became a cop. So
cool.
I got involved with lifeguarding. Kind of got my foot in the door in the right way to. When I did apply, I had all the right credentials and experience to help me be just that little bit better of a candidate.
How many agencies did you apply for?
Everyone in Broward and then the city of Miami.
So for people that don't know Broward, that's like 32. Well, ones that have agencies, there's probably like 27 or 29.
That's fire and popo.
No, just police.
Yeah.
I applied for fire at Pompano Beach where my mom worked, and then the city of Miami Police Department.
Oh, so you were just like.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Is throw it all out there, and someone's gonna call you back. So.
There you go. There's a tip right there. I hope you guys got your notepads at home. You're listening. Like, yeah, just apply everywhere, and bam. Yeah. But that's good. Then you got options.
Yeah, because that's the best thing is when you have options, you can pick and choose.
Yeah, that's
pick
good.
and choose where you want to go. You know, if you like the area, the environment, the way the police department is, the benefits that could help you. You know, things like that.
That's really good because some people are like, you know what, I just want to work for this agency.
A lot of my friends that are still trying to get in, they're like, oh, I just want to work for this. I'm like, doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Apply, get hired, get certified, do your time with the department, and then pick and choose where you want to go.
Yeah, because some people are like, I don't really want to work there, and then they find a little niche, and they're like, you know what, I'm good here. I like this agency.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go federal, and then
I think
started working, and I was like,
I always thought I was going to end up back in Broward, but when I got to the city of Miami, it was the training, the people, the environment, the diversity, just the police work itself. I was like, I'm not leaving here. It's probably one of the best agencies in the country.
So you got to where you're at now. How many years you been a police officer?
It will be 5 years on the 17th. November 17th was 5 years.
5 years. Yep. And not to put other agencies down, but they say 5 years in a large city such as ours is like doing a whole career. Seeing what we see on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Doing a whole career at another agency with the homicides and just the things that you see, and you're like, wow.
Yeah, and just the pace in Miami, like it's very fast paced. Like it's call after call after call. Like there's not a lot of downtime.
Yeah,
So.
I've heard ride-alongs from people from outside, small. I can't say this for some reason. I don't know how to say it. Rural. It's a hard word for me to say. Rural agency come down and ride along, and then just have like their mind blown at the amount of calls, and they're like, "Oh, we just had this homicide, and by the way, we're clearing. We got another shooting over here. We got to go to this, fatality car accident where it's like one city gets that in another place, and then like that's what they're working.
That's the call for
that's like our first week
of
the month, and then here comes our second week of the month.
Yeah.
Whereas you guys might do that in an entire
that's
shift.
every day type of thing.
And then it's all hands on deck for that. And with us, it's like, hey, we got three bodies here. We can handle 3 officers here.
You'll start the night with 8 bodies, and by the end of the night, you got 2 that are trying to handle the next stabbing or shooting.
Because the other ones are caught up.
They're still holding the scenes at the other calls.
Yeah. So, but it's like you say, you get the experience, and like your eyes open up, and in large agencies you get to move around a lot.
Yeah, you do.
There's so many openings, especially in when you have a young department, because you got some people that stay there in their spot, and then they're just there for years, and they've been there for 15, 20 years.
Yeah,
and that spot's not going to open up. But for some reason, this generation's like a 4 and out. 3 or 4 and out. Like, I'm good here. I did my time. I want to go try something else, and I want to go try something else.
Yeah, like in a way, it's a good thing. Like it's kind of like getting a new job every 2 or 3 years. Like it's new.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You're kind of really into it. That's in this field. It's a good thing.
Yeah,
kind of keep your mind fresh and your eyes fresh.
Absolutely. There's been several reset buttons, and I don't want to cut you off, but there's been several reset buttons where I've gotten burnt out. And I hit a reset button, and I felt like I was a rookie again. Yeah. And it wasn't even from anywhere from patrol. It was just patrol to patrol. It was mornings mornings in the north, where I was there for years, and then I said, man, I'm getting burnt out. I went to midnights and became an FTO, and I was like a fresh new uniform, shine my shoes but where there was sergeants that thought I was a rookie, and I had been there for 8 years already. So because when you're working a large agency, you could hide, and people won't. Like I've seen people like I've never seen them before.
Yeah, there's people like in my academy class I graduated with. I haven't seen since we've graduated.
Yeah,
like that's just how big the department is.
All right,
it happens.
We're gonna bring it. We're gonna bring this back now. We're gonna bring this back.
All
so
right, we'll set it up. We'll take a break, and then we'll come right back.
Real quick before we
set us up. Tell us.
You're now in what unit?
I'm in K9.
Got there fairly recent.
A couple months.
And then we'll shortly talk about that when we come back from the break.
Okay.
And then we'll get to the incident that heard round the world. All right,
good.
Mr. Worldwide.
We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Donut Shop's favorite game show, Dumb No Puns, where you've got 3 seconds to gain that pun. I don't care about no Bustelo Fútbol, pilon all day. Anyone rolls up on me? Roast yourself, fool. If you guessed Mug Life, then you got it. You're a winner. Give yourself a round of applause. Catch you on the next episode of Dumb Mug.
If you're a winner in today's episode, please head over to DonutShopPodcast.com where you can collect your prize. All prizes to be paid for by today's winners.
Hey guys, are you hungry? If you are, head over to Big Slick's Deli, home of the famous Rugama cookies. Big Slick's Deli is located at 15455 West Dixie Highway in North Miami Beach. If you want delivery, they use Uber Eats and Grubhub. And officers, they've got you taken care of.
Yeah, we're back.
And we're back. We kind of just started talking. We really got to hone it in now. All right, so let's do some bullet points here. You're in K9.
Yep, K9.
Fairly new.
Very new.
Very new. But there's officers, when you get to K9, you don't have a dog yet. That's new.
Yeah.
You just walk
That's
around
very
with a
new.
least around your neck.
Yeah, for about, I think, 2 weeks, I didn't have a dog.
Yeah. It's not
But
hazing.
at what point
it's
did
not
you start
hazing.
wearing that leash around your neck?
The leash, maybe about like a month in when they
It's not
actually let you
hazing.
take the dog out of the car.
It's
and,
kind of
you know,
cool
you start
because, like,
stuff.
when I used to walk like my parents' dogs, I would like wrap the leash around, and I'm like, this is cool.
Yeah.
It
So
makes you feel cool.
Just so people, it's because you're like, do you wear a leash around it? They might think you're wearing a collar.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a hazing thing. No. It's a K9. You get the K9, they
Yeah.
give you your leash.
Yep, they give you a leash.
You might not have your dog yet,
They give you everything you need except for a dog.
except for a dog.
Yep.
Then the dog, we had Garrett Wing come on, long time K9
Yeah.
history. Well, anyways, then they give you the dog that's trained already.
Yep. Oh, some people get a trained dog, some people don't. Like
Yeah.
it just depends on, the transition of the unit. Like if some guys are leaving with the dog already, then you'll get a finished dog. But a couple of guys in the school with me now have brand new dogs. Like we
they're-
got them and they didn't know anything.
But they're
Green
trained.
Dog, green dog.
Yeah.
So
They're
there's a-
trained very, very basically.
Yeah.
Like, sit, stand, lay
Yes.
down, and that's about it.
Yeah, and then they go to, and so like 180, right?
480 hours.
480
480 hours and then 240 hours of detection training.
So you have, I can't do the math, 720 hours, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know if I'm thinking.
Yeah,
720 hours.
Yeah, about 9-10 months.
Yeah.
Training.
So of training with your dog before you actually
Go onto the street.
go onto the street. So you're in the stage where you got your dog
Yep.
and you've been training now.
Yeah, we've been training for about 2-3 months now.
Shout out to
Your
your
dog
shout out
live
to your
with you?
dog.
My dog's not with me. He's at home.
But I mean, they live with you.
Oh yeah,
Your dog
all our
lives with
dogs live with us. Like it creates that bond. That
Where your dog at? I just wanted to get in there with my dog at.
you. All right,
So
thanks, D.
all right. So what's your dog's name?
my dog's name is Yadek.
Yadik.
Yadek.
Yadik.
So he's.
What that?
What is that?
I don't know.
Where do you
They're
live?
like,
Oh,
hey, here's your dog. His name is Yadek.
Oh, it's because
Take him
you get
home.
him. You get him from Germany. Yeah.
They get them from Europe. I'm not really sure where. We have like
Belgian?
one. Yeah, he's a Belgian.
Malinois. Okay.
The breeder comes over with like 25 dogs. We test all of them and then we pick from
Yadek.
the top all the way down. However many dogs we need.
Sounds like an opponent that Rocky
Might have
faced
fun.
if,
See, maybe I'll
in
Google
one of
it.
his movies, Yadik.
Yeah.
But man, shout out to you, bro. K9 is an awesome unit. I can never do it.
It's the best experience I've had so far as a police officer.
Have you ever had a dog before?
Yeah, I actually have 2 dogs now. Like
Okay.
before I brought home Yadek.
What kind of dogs?
One's a Pit Terrier mix and the other one's a Pit Bulldog mix.
Oh, so you have
Yeah, I've had dogs like
real dogs.
real dogs.
And you don't have that
But
little.
Yadek is on a whole different level. Like
Yeah.
he's something else.
Yeah. How the dogs?
They get along well, but we don't really socialize the police dogs with really any other dogs, just because they're trained in aggression. So we don't want
touche.
any accidents or anything like that.
Touche. All right. So fairly new K9, about to get on the street, and you're gonna be a hell of a cop when you get out there.
Thank you.
I already know it.
Thank you.
You 2020, just like everybody else, it's been a hell of a year for you.
Crazy year.
Hell of a year.
This is a year like
Kinda weird.
no other.
So, let's just get right into it. Let's go to that day, okay? And during when we're talking in the beginning, maybe we could roll without audio, the video. So if you're if you're listening in your car, at one point go in, and if you want to just reference the video. In the beginning of this podcast, we're going to roll some of that B-roll of the incident so people can see, because I don't want to get into much of a description. Checking the service that day. We've already had our cars, a couple cars went up in flames a couple of days prior to this incident. It seemed like things were going down.
Yeah, that day when we went in the roll call, there was nothing planned for the day. There was no planned protest. We were the only unit there. Like, everybody was, at home, getting some rest.
So as unit, I mean, are you there as a canine guy, or what are you doing at the time?
This was my previous assignment. I was there as a beat officer from Little Haiti, and it was the whole, Little Haiti, Model City, Upper East Side, support staff that were the Echo platoon. That was our platoon that day.
So you have patrol, they're out there answering calls, and then you have support units that are not patrol, beats officers, PST officers, problem-solving teams. These are like specialized, I don't know about specialized, but just extra units that are out there. They have a specific,
they're more focused.
Yeah, they have a more focused.
Yeah, we have a little bit more, directive. We have a specific task or, problem that we need to solve for the day.
So when all this stuff was going on, they got those units, those support units, and they made them a response platoon where they would kind of get together, and that was their assignment for those months that was going on. So they didn't tie up in the entire department.
As far as civil disturbance might go.
We still have to answer calls for service and, other police activities that still need to be addressed. And patrol will take care of that, and then the support units and specialized units will take care of everything else.
Because even though there was nothing big, there was still possibilities.
Yeah, that was the thing when we came in. It was the possibility something might happen that was unplanned or spontaneous, that they didn't inform us that was going to happen. And we were kind of just hanging out, underneath I-95 behind the station, and see a bunch of skateboarders, maybe 100, 150 of them, just right by the station. And that was the first look that we've got to see of any of them. So we saw them go by. They were peaceful majority of the day, almost the whole day. They went around, did their protests. They abided to the rules that the chief laid out for the day. Around 5:30, 3 individuals out of the whole group started spray painting statues and defacing property. And Chief Morales, I think it was at the time, he was in the RTC, the Real Time Crime Center, and was watching all of this play out. And we identified those 3 guys. We knew exactly who they were. We watched them from the second they did it to up until the point where we took them into custody.
And that's the problem, is that they don't see police. So Real Time Crime Center is, we have a camera system. Not only that, we're scouring. We have stuff that scours the social media networks. License plate readers.
Any camera can be used for our advantage.
Our shot spotters. So we have these strategically placed around the city, and we have a unit dedicated where they're just watching, and it's a real-time crime center is what it's called. Nice. And we're gonna have somebody come on, and we're gonna go further into detail in a later episode. So these guys are people, 3 offenders. They're doing it. They don't see police. Yeah, they're like, I'm good.
We didn't leave the station at all until right before we arrested them. And even then, we made an effort to not get involved in anything. Hey, we're just gonna go get them and let's go. Yeah. We didn't have the manpower, nor did we even want to get involved in anything with them. Yeah. With the way everything was kind of playing out, it was, let's do what we have to do and let them, voice their opinion. Let them, have their, voice their Second Amendment right. And
First Amendment.
First
Second Amendment might start to become a little more dangerous.
So the problem is that, and I try to play devil's advocate for everything, is that's good for us because we're like, bam, we go in there, we grab them. Yeah. To them, they're like, oh, this is the government. There was a thing in, I forget where it was, where they were said some
Portland.
FBI.
Yeah, Portland.
Or Seattle or Portland or something.
HSI guys.
Yeah, where they came, they grabbed somebody because they have their targets. I know that these 3 people are the ones that committed the crime. Right. I don't want to incite a riot. But it's like then the other people are like, what? The government's against us, because that's what essentially they're out there for, is the anti-government stuff. And then they could come up with their own the reasons why or how they got them or something.
Right.
So
Well, and the similar thing goes with protesting and stuff like that. You've got your agitators. So if you identify your agitator, the person, everybody else is there doing their First Amendment and voicing their opinion, and they can be loud and do all that. But you get the agitator, that one guy that throws a brick that really tries to get everybody hyped up and do other things. And so as long as you grab that person and pull them out, then the protest and the activity can go on as it was.
But then the other ones are like, oh, why did you take my? If you don't explain that. But anyway, so now you go, you got the 3, bang.
Yeah, the chief called the perfect plan.
Yeah.
We went around. We kind of snuck in. We saw them come to us. We grabbed them. Took them into custody, and we were leaving. And when they realized, hey, the cops are leaving, like they were out there to pick a fight with us. Mm-hmm. They realized we were leaving. Out of nowhere, 2 kids with a skateboard come crashing into a windshield. Yeah, those officers jump out.
Right, so they were hitting the windshield of the car.
No, they destroyed the car.
So they were trying to leave.
Yeah, we were trying to leave. They had really cut off the convoy in the middle. Half the unit was already back at the station, or almost to the station, and the other half was stuck behind their line of people. Yeah, 2 kids came with a skateboard, hit the windshield, and those officers in that car jumped out, grabbed, I think, one of the guys, and then the crowd jumped on them. Yeah, and we were in the back, like the back half of it. We saw them getting jumped. We ran out to go get our guys back, and that's how the whole thing kind of spelled out. So
you're there. You go in to assist. You in this chaos. Yeah. Right. You're able to target on one person that you saw, or like, I'm gonna get this person.
We weren't even there to even.
When you rolled up, was what I'm saying.
When we rolled up, we got out. We just wanted our guys back. Yeah. And if they had somebody in custody, then hey, we just wanted them back, because we didn't want to fight with them. We didn't want to be involved in anything else. They were peacefully protesting. We got the guys that defaced the property and that was it. Yeah. We just wanted them back, and as we were creating a circle around them to protect them, to finish whatever they were doing, I got approached and someone swung on me, and that now you have to go to jail too. And as I'm taking that person into custody, I ended up getting kneed in the face, and then as I'm jumping on that person who kneed me, here comes a skateboard. Bing. Yep.
As the donut operator would say, bopped them on the head. You got hit with a truck. It looked like the truck of the skateboard.
It was the truck of the skateboard.
Which is the metal part that holds the wheels.
Yeah, so shout out to the skateboarders, because we do have a skate park right near the station. Yeah, and I see them out there.
That skate park had just opened too.
Yeah, so
it's pretty new. I remember seeing it under construction.
Nothing against skateboarders, but we're against skateboarders that bop officers on the head.
Well, and that's kind of the weird thing when you watch the protests across the country. Skateboards ended up being used as weapons a lot of times, as a weapon of opportunity, which is unfortunate because it's a means of transportation for a lot of people. Yeah. It's an activity for people, and right near the police station underneath I-95, there's a really nice brand new skate park that people do some awesome stuff, and so it kind of mixes the world.
But think about it. It's easy to get around. You put it on your arm, and then you can boost
hey man, it's not a weapon. It's not a weapon.
Strap it to your backpack. But even like me personally, I've had skateboards. Like I have a skateboard.
Longboard or the
longboard? The electric one though. I'm lazy.
Yeah. Oh, electric one.
But even if you were just walking around Miami, even if you were wearing cleats like Nick might have back in the day, and he's got a baseball bat strapped in there, we might look at somebody a little bit and be like. But Nick's like, hey, I'm just a baseball player. Yeah. But
what I gotta have that voice?
That was your voice.
Oh, hey, boys and girls, it's Mickey Mouse.
So but that's what the skateboard kind of doing the same thing.
So you get hit on the head with the skateboard. Yep. You get out of there. You affect an arrest. You get people affect an arrest, and then you guys bounce.
Yep. So we get in the car. We take off.
Did you feel it?
I didn't feel it till we got back to the car when they're like, "Hey, listen, we can't. We got to hold the line. There's more officers coming." I get back to my car, and I have a twin brother. And that day, I was riding with my twin brother, and hey, grab your helmets. Grab my helmet. And I just turn around, and he goes, "Hey, take your hat off, your glass. Like, you all right?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm fine." He goes back, and he's like, "No." Pulls me off the line. He takes my spot there, and I'm in the back with the supervisors for the rest of the incident. We get back to the station. Hey, I got a real bad headache. puke right before we go inside. You know, we take care of the paperwork, and like it was so loud, like with all the people that were in there, the officers doing paperwork, I couldn't sit in the room.
Yeah.
So I go, hey, I'm gonna go do this in the car. I get in the car, and the headache's still throbbing. You know,
Yeah.
take some Excedrin. You know, because I played football, I've had concussions. You know, I always keep some type of headache medicine on me.
Well, that's what I wanted to tie it back to. Is you played football.
Yeah, I
You've
did.
had concussions before.
Yeah,
So
quite
this
a
had
few.
all the symptoms.
So yeah, I had
So
all
you
the
knew what was-
symptoms. You know, I took some Excedrin. Couldn't shake the headache. The headache actually got worse. So we end up going home. On the whole ride home, the headache's worse. It's getting worse.
Did you
It's
know
getting
you
worse.
got hit in the head
No,
at that point?
I had no clue. Like we were out there. It was a fight at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, you had some
there
tunnel
was-
vision probably.
Yeah, it was tunnel vision. Hey, I was on. You know, I had somebody that I'm worried about that person.
I always tell the recruits and these officers, I'm like, hey, has anyone ever been into a fight? And they're like, yeah, well, you know, you don't feel anything in a fight.
Yeah.
Like unless it's like a small percentage.
Yeah,
of the
unless you get
shots.
knocked out,
Yeah,
you don't
But
feel
you
it.
don't feel anything in a fight. It's not until the next day when you wake up, you're like, oh
Yeah.
damn,
Yeah.
you know. And then
Yeah.
and then like, did I win the fight? Then you look in the mirror and like, nah, I didn't win the fight. I'm all
Yeah.
jacked out, got a swollen eye, and oh, I guess I didn't win. But like that, you get hit in the
So,
head
yeah.
with a truck, which is a
The metal,
thick
yeah, the
metal
metal part.
Heavy
metal
metal
part,
part, yeah.
bop, and then you don't even feel that. I mean, you feel it, but there's no pain.
No, honestly,
Yeah.
like didn't feel nothing.
Yeah, adrenaline
Yeah.
is a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, so
So yeah, we get back, or on the way home, get home, and one of the officers that was in the platoon sends me a video from Twitter, and she's like, "Hey, did you get hit with a skateboard?" I'm watching the video. I watch it twice, and then I go take my hat off, and you could see the dirt imprint mark on my hat from the skateboard.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah. I call the sergeant. You know, we take care of all the paperwork, and I ordered a large pizza, 2-liter soda, ate the whole thing.
large piece of 2-liter soda, and you're a fit guy. What's going on there?
Oh, this is my concussion. Like, hey, I knew I had like
Oh, okay.
from football. Like, I had a process. Like, yeah, concussion after the game. I'll go home, order a pizza, get a 2-liter soda, and then I would just sleep.
Really?
So just sleep.
Wow.
So I get home, I order pizza, eat it, and sleep for 3 days. Like, just knock out for 3
I'm
days.
curious at how you got to that.
What
The
that
soda and the
process.
pizza. Like, what was the process?
College kid, and that was the only thing open at night.
Yeah, it was
Oh, I
a
thought-
$10 pizza,
Yeah,
a
$10
$1
pizza,
2-liter.
Oh
Why not?
man, I thought there was some like medical recipe behind it. It was
Nah,
like, yeah,
that was
because
just
the Coke
I'm
bubbles.
about to eat and sleep I'm not gonna eat for a couple of days.
Yeah, he's
Like,
got to hibernate.
Yeah,
Oh,
like that's
shit.
really what it is, like a hibernation thing.
You know, they say it's really bad to go to sleep after you get a concussion.
Yeah,
You're not
right.
supposed to
Yeah,
go to
yeah,
It's
sleep.
the worst thing, but at the time, like I had just bought my house. I was living by myself. It was just me and my dogs, and go in there, sleep for 3 days, and I wake up to my brother kicking in my front door because I haven't been to work, haven't answered the phone.
Oh, you were scheduled to work?
Yeah, I was scheduled to work
Oh, my
that
God.
Monday.
Wow.
And
Wow.
No one's heard from me. My brother kicks in my door. He goes, "Hey, like they're sending people to the house right now to come look for you."
Oh, my God.
And he goes, "Are you all right?" I go, "Bro, my head." And he throws me in the car, takes me to urgent care, and they're like, "Yeah, you got a concussion, like a pretty good one."
Lord. So that was
Takes me back home, and I end up sleeping for like another week or two.
wow.
Oh, my
So didn't leave my house, my bed, nothing.
So more pizza too, or no?
No, I had someone come cook me.
That's the other thing is because then you don't have to really cook it. You can just go eat it straight
Yeah.
out of the box. Like
cold
it is,
pizza
it is
the
bomb proof.
Cold pizza is the best thing ever.
Yeah. That's-
I don't really mess with cold pizza.
Yeah,
I'm-
I don't know.
I got
There's
a little
always this
Italian.
run on. There's this run on toilet paper. I don't know why people aren't just ordering more pizzas
Yeah.
and then just stacking them up because then you can just keep eating them.
I'm not a.
Yeah, stick it in the oven. good for the
Italian,
next day.
A little bit of Italian.
I got
Nick
Italian
wants-
blood.
Nick wants fresh tomato.
I gotta have the thing. So I don't want to take a break yet.
Yeah,
I know
okay.
you're trying to push the break
I won't.
because I want to wrap this all up because then I want to get to the
Questions.
ending, the end, and the questions and everything will happen at the end. So you have a concussion, right? You watched the video.
Yeah, I've seen the video. I woke up to a viral video. Like,
So-
it was viral already.
Be real with it. In your head, did you feel like you were like an Avenger when you were there? Like, yeah, and you're doing all these cool moves, and then you watch yourself and like, man, that was nothing like I pictured in my head.
No, I was like, let's just go.
Oh,
Like,
so
let's get what we came for
Yeah.
and get out of here.
Whenever I play back stuff in my head, like I think I'm like this Avenger.
It definitely looked like Age of Ultron, like the fight at the end or whatever.
I'm doing like all these awesome moves, and I watch it in real life, and I'm like, "Boo, boo, 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 boo," and I'm like, that's nothing like I thought it looked in my head. Like when I got hit by the dog, I thought I took the hit real good. Nah, I got destroyed. I don't know if you saw that vlog where I got destroyed.
No, I haven't. Yet.
I got destroyed in a vlog. It separated my shoulder, whatever. Long story short, in my head, I thought it looked cool. I didn't. So you go, now you see the video, you're viral.
Yeah.
All the news networks are running this. Big media, social media guys are doing reviews. Shout out to Donut Operator. And then you see the gentleman in the video strike you in the head. How'd you feel about that?
I was, at the time they were already using skateboards as weapons. They already threw them into the windshield. So like it didn't surprise me, but it didn't really click that. Hey, he hit me with it until I watched it, the third or fourth time, and you can hear it hit me in the head. I was just like, okay, like we should probably go to the hospital. Like it probably get looked at.
Yeah.
So,
but emotionally, were you like, man, I can't believe this guy hit me in the head like that, man?
Or you just like not at first, like as cops, like when we're working.
Yeah.
That it's not really my safety isn't the most important thing. It's the guys around me. It's the people we're dealing with. Their safety is more important than mine.
Yeah.
So that really didn't click until after the fact. My mom posted a video that went viral, and that's when it kind of hit me like that could have went completely another way.
Yeah, because it's not right. Like I don't know. It's kind of a sucker punch. It was a cheap shot.
I wasn't looking like it's. Really, like we were dealing with something else, and you took a cheap shot.
Because you've seen it on a lot of videos during some of these protests when the officer has somebody underneath them and they're, trying to effect an arrest or do a handcuff or something like that. And somebody comes in, people come in with these cheap shots. Like you see them a lot in New York.
Yeah.
The guy runs up and just throws an uppercut right up into an officer's face or a kick.
Yeah.
And, it's a weak area. And that's why kind of why the officers do the encirclement.
Yeah. That's why, that was the whole reason for the first circle is, hey, let's protect the guys, let them do what they have to do. And, but that's, and in a situation like that, it was a really us versus them type of mentality. Like for the public, really, it was us versus them, it should never be. Like we were there. We didn't want anything bad to happen to anybody. We want you guys to do your thing, be peaceful, be safe. If you guys wanted to take a section of Biscayne to protest, we would have blocked the street for you guys.
Right.
We would have blocked the street so that way you can voice your opinion in a safe way, so that nothing happens to you guys. And
that's what I've been saying the whole time. It's like we work together. We're cool. Like yes, cool, man. Let's do it. What do you guys want to do? Let's go. Let's do it. It just so happens that they had ulterior motives, and they just wanted to pick a fight.
Yeah, they just wanted to pick a fight that day.
But it's good to hear your perspective. And I have the same thing. But to hear your perspective about when you're in a situation like that, and you have everyone screaming and everyone yelling, you don't know who is who.
Yeah.
So people are like, well, how can they target me? Mm-hmm. How can they target me? You're in a group of people that are yelling and screaming that just hit a police car, and you're pointing and you're not backing off when we show up. Because if a cop ever showed up when I was not a cop, I'd be like, oh, time to go. Even when I see police.
Even now, hey, I see cop.
Yeah.
Let's go the other way.
Hey, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see police lights or something. Hey, we'll go around.
Yeah. How you doing, sir? Thank you for your service. I'm out.
Yeah, because there's all kinds of reasons. Like you don't know, they're not there to mess with you, but might be somebody behind you that they're actually going to get or whatever.
So here
you're in the way.
We show up and you see a large rowdy crowd, and we don't know who's who. So don't take it personal. It's just something like we might get hit in the head with a skateboard from any direction. That's what we deal with. But people they look at it from their own perspective, like, well, I'm not going to hit anybody in the head with a skateboard. And it's not you.
The big thing, like with this whole situation, is take a step back and look at the bigger picture. And like that's what it ended up being for me, was take a step back, look at the bigger picture. Yeah. And then make an opinion or make a decision.
What and I know you're hesitant to do video stuff, and you're not a video guy per se. You don't like doing interviews. That's not what you're about. But in order to reach people and get your message out, because it's a very strong message, a very powerful one. Unfortunately, you got tossed into the fire. He's like, you got it.
It was you woke up and hey, Gotta go. This is it now. You're
all
on the
good.
face. You're the face of the country.
It's all
Yeah,
good,
yeah,
man.
here
But
I
it's
am.
a good face to be, man. It's a good face to be, and it's something that is needed. You know, hopefully things start slowing down a little bit. But I'm glad you're here and you're telling your story. So when we come back, we're gonna take a short break. We're gonna do questions. The audience, we polled. I know you saw it.
Yeah.
Polled the audience,
Yeah.
and they got tons of questions they want to find out. They got a lot of things they want to ask. We already have them predetermined. So
Okay.
we're going to take a short break. After that, we're going to talk about you and your friend, your newfound friend, Mike.
Michael.
Okay?
Yeah.
Michael.
Michael.
I call him Mike. No, you didn't like Mike?
No, he likes Michael.
All right, Michael.
Good.
All right.
I prefer someone that uses their full name. I call my brother Zachary. Everybody else calls him Zach.
Well,
Zachary to me.
well, Nicholas off
I don't
duty.
call you Nicholas, though.
Nicholas off duty.
It just doesn't roll off the tongue. All right, we'll be right back. What's up, everybody? Hey, it's Justin. Wanted to thank you. You guys have been huge. Blackout Coffee let us know that you've been killing it over there on our website. Thank you very much. They've even offered a new code for us. It's DSP20. That's going to get you 20% off your order. So DSP20 is going to grab you 20% your re-up of your coffee now that you're probably finished with that first bag. So go over to our website, donutshoppodcast.com, or hit up blackoutcoffee.com to get your 20% off with DSP20. Thanks. Now back to the show.
All right. We're back. Officer Washington, welcome to the interview and interrogation portion. I got my trooper hat on. Super intimidating. I know you're intimidated.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I can see by
The Smokey Bear and the drill instructors
look in your
from the
hat.
academy. Yeah.
You're for sure you're getting a ticket if I roll up on you with this hat.
Oh, yeah, no
all
questions
day,
asked.
all day. All right. Anyways, Jay, I'm gonna let you take the first question because that's what I do. Because I like to say that I'm not prepared. So it buys me time while you're ready.
You're more worried about your trooper introduction.
Yeah, I have to do the whole thing because you don't have the sound effects yet.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead.
Okay. I'll work on that.
Yeah.
So, Stefan 2 times, I believe, will be the name of this person, asked, what are some of the ways to motivate future officers when things like this happen? So, like the situation down there, like how would you motivate?
I mean, the best motivation is when you look up and you see 4 or 5 of your guys standing around you, like, there to do anything and everything you need. That's the best motivation is that the police force or brotherhood, if you want to call it, is we're all there for each other. No matter how bad it is, how good it is, like someone will always be there for you, no matter what. So,
Yeah.
and like that day, that video, like it showed everybody was there to help. Me and the other guys that were, involved in something.
No doubt. That means that, like no one fights alone.
Nah.
So
no.
you're gonna be all right. All right. So Big Mo. By the way, thanks for the question. Big Mo 305 _ my boy from Stickball, by the way, plays Stickball. He asked, did at any moment you feel defenseless during? I missed it. During the riot control after being attacked. At any time did you feel defenseless during the riot control after being attacked?
Nah. Defenseless I think is a state of mind.
Yeah.
Like if you're still in the fight, you're still actively trying to, take someone into custody or, get out of the situation. Like you're not defenseless. And then again, you have 5, 6 of your friends that are there to help you.
Did you even feel like you were being attacked?
No.
I mean, you didn't
when
know.
the knee, like when I got the knee and it, it shot me back.
Yeah.
That was the first time I was like, okay, they're really coming after me now.
Yeah.
But
It's go time.
it's go time. Yeah, it was go time. And I know if I go, there's 3 more guys coming right after me.
I
So.
like that. And girls, because there was
and girls.
there's
Some tough ladies out
Yeah.
there
Some tough
on
ladies.
that scene.
them flipping the phone. Shout out to the ladies of MPD. All right. I like it. Jay, what
Next
you got?
one is a more of a statement. So it's a JMV 2277 says Officer Washington is a credit to his department and he's making a difference in this kid's life. A great job. So more so just props than a actual question.
Yeah.
So, but thanks for the comment.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And just so you know, we've had, like, I want to say, close to 100 questions, and we're covering the questions as we talk.
Yeah.
So shout out to everyone. I see your questions, but we're asking them now. So, but I just wanted to add that one in there because that's a testament right there, man. I mean, it's good stuff, and we haven't even gotten to
the story.
the story of why you're here. So here we go. Got one slid up in the DMs. Said, hey, this is who's this? What's their name? At Farah Oyula dash Larui. I suck with names. I'll let you try that one. Okay, it says, hey, Officer Nikki, I don't know how they both became to have a friendship, but what I thought the other day was maybe the guy with the skateboard tried to hit the other guy and not the officer. Correct me if I'm wrong, but anyways, beautiful to see them so close. Stay safe.
Yeah, it was intentional. Like he was swinging it to hit me.
Okay.
So
we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave it there.
You heard it from the mouth itself, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so no questions there. And I got one more. Or you got one more.
You got one more. You want to
okay, this one is, and I'll leave their handle out of there because I already know the answer to this. But it says, "Hey, is Officer Washington single?" What?
No, I'm not. I have a girlfriend.
Of course, a man like you has a girlfriend, and she's a lucky girl.
Yeah,
Shout out to your girlfriend and her future podcast. Plug. She gonna have a podcast?
Yeah, she is.
All right.
She had one before and kind of got it restarted up. So
nice.
You could follow me on Instagram, and then when it's up and running, we'll
handles. Give me the handles.
It's _Clean Bandit 82.
Clean Bandit 82. Yeah. There it is. Yeah. We'll put it up all over our social media. Follow him.
Forget the 82.
Follow him, and then
once the podcast is up and running, then I'll post it on my page.
Everybody's got like a 2 podcast history. Like you had a podcast before this.
Yeah.
I did a podcast before this. So it's
kind of like a trial and error.
Yeah, you gotta work through your mojo and kind of figure out where you're going. Oh God! Here comes COVID. Here comes COVID.
I shook it off. No time for sneezes.
Thanks, Taylor Swift.
All right, so we'll put that in there. You can go hang out in the waiting room.
Welcome back, Mr. Light.
No, what that light is saying is that the interview and interrogation is over. It's a short one because we got a lot of story left.
All right, yeah,
but
we'll use the rest of the time for that.
Yeah, you gotta take that hat off.
I'm gonna take the hat off because I don't want to.
I'm starting to sweat a little.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back, and we'll switch the lights around.
Shortest one ever.
But it was good, man.
It was.
You hit it. What's up, everybody? Just wanted to tell you about our friends over at D&B Tile. There's 6 locations across South Florida that can take care of everything that you need, from accessories, installation materials, marble, and of course, the best tile. Start by looking at their website, dbtile.com. And first responders, when you go in there, mention Donut Shop Podcast for 15% off your purchase. Now back to the show.
We're back. You survived. Cool. My dog. So you go, right? You get bopped in the head, and then you see this stuff playing out, but so does the whole world. Yeah. And the whole world wants heads to roll. Yeah. They're like, we need to find this guy who hit this officer in the head. And our department was very thorough, and social media helped a lot.
They didn't stop.
Real-time crime center was a big role. So all this stuff, all this information, and finally they're able to identify the person.
Yeah.
Flyers on the news and everything.
It was a headhunt.
Went to the news, they put the flyer out on the news. It was instantaneous that somebody came forward and.
So then, did he turn himself in?
I believe so.
Okay.
Like I think I was still light duty when they took him into custody, or he turned himself in.
So when you saw the video, what'd you think? I can't believe this man, this big guy.
No, it wasn't like I can't believe it was the heat of the moment. Like they were using skateboards as weapons. Like it was.
What I'm getting at is, did you think that it turned out to be Juvenile, right?
Yeah, he was 17 years old. 17
years old. Did you believe it was that young, or do you thought it was a little bit older?
No, he was 6'3", almost 300 pounds. Like he didn't look like a juvenile at all.
6'4" for the recruiters out there. 6'4" for
yeah. 6'4". If you're gonna put his
6'5",
stats up,
6'5". So 6'3", about 300,
280, like 280, 300.
Solid, swinging a skateboard, kid. Metal skateboard truck, boom to the head. So now he turns himself in. How do you feel?
At first, I had the same, kind of stance as the rest of the world. It is what it is. Like you did it, you gotta suffer the consequences. And once I got the word that it was, he was a juvenile and it was, being taken to the juvenile courts, and I kind of, just let the system play out. Like I had, didn't have a lot of faith in the juvenile justice system. So, dealing with the same juveniles on the road.
Turn the mic a little bit. Just it can't. There you go. Yeah.
Dealing with the same juveniles on the street every day, same crimes over and over again. I was like, oh, it's that's the story it's going to be.
And you know what? And unfortunately, the repeat offenders that are juveniles, they know that.
Yeah, they know.
So they're like,
it's not a secret.
Nah.
So
if you ever taken a juvenile to jail, and they're real serious crimes.
Yeah, like
they
big crimes.
show up. They'll go in there. They'll get there. Wait for. Get my snack. They get their snack. They get their blanket.
Snack. Wait for their parents to come pick them up.
They sit in an area, almost looks like an airport.
Yeah.
And then there's TVs on, playing cartoons or something, and they hang out in there and they wait for their parents to pick them up.
Yeah, same thing for us. And then when I worked in the high school, it was you were picking up kids for real stuff. The drugs and the distribution and stuff like that too.
It's a real slippery slope because they're serious crimes, but they're kids.
They're kids and they saw futures.
So it's a really like
that was one of the hardest
situation.
Things to kind of accept. Was the juvenile justice system isn't a punishment system, it's a rehabilitation system.
Yeah.
So, and it's hats off to the attorneys, like the prosecutor and the defense attorneys, like they really kind of spelled it out for me and kind of gave me the insight of how that whole system works.
So, and not to confuse the two, because Michael, as you come to know him, has never been in trouble with the law before.
The first time that he was ever on his own, like out in public alone, was that day. That's a big... and even then, like after we sat down, we had an hour and a half long conversation. Thanks to the attorneys, they set it up and gave us the opportunity to hear each other out.
So the attorneys requested to speak to you.
Yeah.
You were like, I don't know about that.
Like it went on for maybe a month and a half, and I was just like, no, like with zero faith in their system, like. Yeah. Like, what's the point? Like, you guys are just.
Was it because you were mad, or was it?
It was a little bit because I was mad, and a lot more because of zero faith in the system. Like, like you guys aren't going to do anything anyway. So why am I going to waste my time?
Yeah, why participate?
Yeah, why participate?
Failed system.
Yeah, in a failed system. So they're calling, and then I guess the attorneys, they switched attorneys on like prosecutors, and for 45 minutes, me and her were on the phone, and she was just like, he just wants to talk to you. Like, if he talks to you, he'll take the deal. So I was like, okay, set it up. So they set it up. A day later, they called me with the time and the place, and I showed up. He showed up, and introduced myself. I shook his hand, and instantly you could see that he was scared. He was sorry. Like, it was a very genuine type of encounter.
So what was he facing? Had this not gone down, had you just stuck to your guns and said, you know what?
Oh, his life would have been
F
over.
the system.
Like his whole life, being an athlete, being a young black man in America, like his whole life would have been over. We would have had to deal with him as an adult for probably way more serious things.
Okay.
So, and me being a black man too, like I knew a lot of the struggles that he faced growing up. And like I still do. Like I'll drive down the street and I still get stopped because I'm a black guy in a bad area with a car with 10. Like it still happens to me, so I understand it like almost perfectly. So, for us to sit down and him to see somebody who looks like him, talks like him, has tattoos like everyone else he knows, for me just to be genuine and be like, hey, listen, like let's talk. This isn't. We're just gonna have a conversation, and if I get one little whiff of BS, this is over. And he stayed true to that. I stayed true to that, and
so he was because everyone sees it from the outside, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's seen it.
Yeah.
So the social media is a bitch because everyone has their voice and they're talking about he's only remorseful because he got caught.
Yeah.
And that's a question that's legit. Because if you didn't get caught, would you really be remorseful? But at the end of the day, you got to spend the most time with them. You're an officer. You've dealt with the baddest of the bad.
Yeah.
And I haven't even gotten to 2020 the 3 times that I want to talk about that. But anyways, but you've dealt with bad, intentions.
I've dealt with the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
people who've done some unthinkable things. Like
And you read them. You're reading them,
yeah,
and you're
like
like,
that's the one, really good plus about this job is you learn how to read people.
yeah.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Like you can instantly tell, hey, this person's gonna give me a problem. This person's not. Like, hey, I can talk to this person. Like we can find a middle ground.
Yeah.
So and using that, that skill in itself, like I was able to, feel him out instantly, and he was genuinely sorry.
So.
And then we talked, and we found a middle ground. We both played football, and he D1 scholarships. The kid is very good. Like second I figured out who he was, his name, I Googled him. His huddle highlight film came up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this kid is actually good, and I did a little bit of my own research on him, and talked to my dad, my parents, and they kind of influenced a lot of the. I wouldn't call it sympathy, but hey, just hear him out.
What was it? I'm sorry.
No, yeah,
what was their stance? What was their stance?
Yeah, because
they're old school.
As a family who's in public safety and
sports, and
yeah,
my dad always said, everyone makes mistakes,
That's
but
true.
it's not about, the mistakes happen, but what you do after the mistake is how you really show if it was a mistake or not.
Actions.
The actions. If you make a mistake and you continue to make that mistake, that's not a mistake. That's a character flaw.
Yeah.
That's something that you can't change. But if you make that mistake and you never make that mistake again, it's a mistake. And that's how you show everyone that, hey, it was a mistake and I'm genuinely sorry for it. And
So by reading him and talking to him and getting to know him, his parents,
Yeah.
was a mistake?
It was.
Bad influence?
It was. He got caught in the moment, and because everyone else was throwing skateboards and was fighting the cops, he got caught in the moment.
Yeah.
And even to this day, me and him, I was at his game, or I tried to go to his game this Friday, but the school wouldn't allow us to buy tickets at the gate and stuff like that.
COVID.
So because of COVID.
Yeah.
So I've been to almost every single one of his games except for 2, and that was the only time he's left the house. So.
And that's what I said. Like, you got people out there for the right reasons, and then you got those knuckleheads that throw a rock, and then the people out there, they're like, "This is what we're doing? We're throwing rocks."
And for him, the way that whole Black Lives Matter protest was put out there, was it. If you weren't following up with it, and he wasn't, he was heavily involved in school and football. Like, if you just saw it and, oh, hey, let me go support my people.
Yeah.
That's what it was for him. Like, hey, let me go support my people.
on the surface, it's...
But the ulterior motive behind that whole thing was to go pick a fight with the cops. Mm-hmm. And if you weren't up to speed with everything going on, you wouldn't know that. And he got caught trying to do the right thing, but with the wrong people.
So you have talked to them because he went out there to support Black Lives Matter movement, but they just wanted to pick a fight with the police.
They just wanted to pick a fight.
So the stance in Black Lives Matter, that police need some change, a little bit of an anti-police, or just like we need to change police. Have you spoken to them about issues like that?
I have. My whole family, between my family, just 3 generations, there's 122 years of police service.
Good.
So I've got to experience, policing change over 3 generations.
Yeah.
With us wearing cameras now, my dad being a cop from, the 70s and the 80s, that wasn't, there's no way you're putting a camera. You put a camera on a cop, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
That's the culture. But now, with the bad apples that we do have in this field, it's needed.
Yeah.
And it keeps everybody accountable. It's that one level playing field that if you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, then you're right.
And the good thing is that, exactly what you said, it keeps everybody
in check.
Not only the police, it keeps
even when I first got my camera, you had to learn how to make the tool. It's a tool.
Yeah.
It's not just a camera, it's a tool. It keeps you accountable, keeps you in check, it keeps everyone else in check, and it eliminates that editing the videos and then posting it, and you get just a piece of the story.
Yeah.
So,
and you know what? I wonder, I got to get somebody from IA in here to talk and say, there's been pre-camera and post-camera, how the complaints been? Because some people might come in with some outlandish stuff.
Even just for me, I've had complaints where the camera was on, and there was mistakes that I made, and I immediately owned up to it.
Yeah.
Hey, I was wrong, and wait, someone admitting to the wrong to IA as a police,
Yeah.
like that never happens. But hey, I was wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, I wasn't, you know, on the very far end of that spectrum where, you know, somebody got hurt or I violated somebody's rights, but, you know, I was wrong.
Yeah.
And, you know, whatever the punishment is, you know, I'll accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, just experiencing that and, you know, dealing with Michael is, if you can own up to your mistake, you at least deserve a chance at redemption.
Yeah,
And
so-
like for him and
Yeah, I was gonna ask you.
for him, even accepting the fact that, hey, if you're ever gonna mess up, or, you know, I want you to play football, I want you to go far, and if you're gonna make a mistake, give me your phone. I put my number in his phone, and hey, call me. Like
Yeah.
if you can't get it picked up from school, and a bunch of your friends are offering to give you a ride home, and you know you're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
Call me. Your mom can't come get you. I'll come get you.
Yeah. So not to get sidetracked with the cameras or anything, but you became his mentor.
Yeah.
So is that a program, or are you just kind of
No,
like?
that was just a genuine, you know.
Just dudes.
Yeah, it was just a genuine thing. Like he was genuinely sorry, and you know, the kid is very good at football. He's gonna go far, and like going into, you know, a football program, a D1 program, like knowing, like from being there, knowing of what he's about to face,
Yeah.
being accountable for everything you do is, he needs to learn that lesson. And if I could teach it to him before he gets there,
Yeah.
then
He's got a leg up on a lot.
He's got a leg
of
up on a lot of
guys.
things. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, playing college football, you know, there's going to be college parties and things are going to happen at those parties where you're there. The person's so out of their mind on drugs or drunk that they're only going to remember one face because they see your face every Saturday.
Yeah.
So now you're accountable for everything that happened in that room when you were there for a half a second, or they just saw you at the party. The
Right.
only person they remember is you.
Message from
So-
Michael. Officer Washington is not your get out of jail free card, so you don't call him after. You call him before.
Before.
You call him before.
And that's
And that's a message
Even-
that needs to
even-
be.
like, you know, Michael is one thing, but even
Yeah.
if something's about to happen and you know if you call the police before
Yeah.
it happens and you let them know, everything could be different.
Yeah.
Like everything, you know, hey, these guys are about to fight. It's going to be bad. Like they might have guns or weapons. Hey, someone needs to get over here. You could save lives. You
Right,
Can, you
yeah.
can change, you know, a lot of different things in a lot of people's lives that, you know, if you just minded your business or, you know, at least didn't say anything.
So I always had it that I wanted to be a police officer, and I knew, fuck, I have law enforcement in my family, that what I did today would affect me later on. And I always had that in the back of my mind, parties, all this stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I see a lot of drugs going on around this party. I would come in, what's up? Hey, and I would scope it out. There's some
Yeah.
drugs. I'm out. I don't want to get caught up for whatever reason, by association. And I'm like, I'm out. Because I always had that thing. And that's not saying that everyone that's police officers, oh, if I'm not a police officer, you just should know that your future depends on your decisions that you're making today.
Right. And that was the big lessons for Michael.
Yeah.
And, you know, after, you know, a lot of people have heard the story, like the Dolphins reached out, they gave us tickets, we went to a game, and,
Oh, yeah.
you know, we got an opportunity to speak to some of the players, and, you know, just hearing,
That's awesome.
Yeah,
What
like-
position does he play?
he plays defensive tackle and a little offensive line too.
Oh, cool.
So he's good. So where do you see yourself moving forward? Do you think it's a lifelong thing now that where
Oh,
you?
yeah, I think so. Like
Yeah?
just the relationship, the way it developed, you know, it's, you know, he didn't have a lot of the I guess the luxuries that, you know, that a lot of people do have, and
Yeah.
just having that one person in your corner that no matter what happens, you know he's going to be there, or, you know, if something happens, I can call you and you're not going to judge me, you're going to help me genuinely.
Yeah.
That's always a good number to have in your phone.
So what do you say? Speaking out to the naysayers, they're like, man, he should have done the time.
that guy should be in jail for a couple years.
What do you say to the naysayers? Talk to them.
Honestly,
Charge him as an adult.
I don't have anything to say to him.
No?
Like, that's your opinion. Keep it to yourself.
That's what
I
I'm
don't wanna
talking
hear
about.
it. So,
You know what?
If you were put in my position, that's how you felt it should be handled, then that's you. But
That's
you know,
good, man.
from my experience in the police world and my outside, you know, my personal experience, holding a grudge or, you know, ruining someone's life isn't the way I want to go about it.
But that's good.
So
I mean, that's not only with. The thing is, that's your character.
Yeah.
Because that's not only with this incident. as a police officer, and you know, I think since the time you've been on, we've known each other, but I've been off the streets.
Yeah.
I've been doing the social media gig, and now I'm with training. So I haven't got to work with you on the streets per se, but any police department is like a high school. You know who's who from stories and everything,
Yeah.
and you know you have a good rap sheet, man.
Thank you.
You got good words out there, life-saving awards, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, we only have a little bit of time left, but
But you said something about a 3.
yeah. So there was something you said that was like there was something other than just what's going on here.
Yeah.
There was
2020.
three times where you
Yeah.
had a run-in with death,
Yeah.
or almost. You could
Almost.
say you could have almost died easily, but there was a higher calling that maybe set you up to meet Michael and to have this interaction. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so 2 of them was this past year. The first one I was off going home, on 95. 95 it's parking lot. People running in between cars.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, there's a crash. Obviously something's up.
Yeah.
And someone comes up to my window, knocks on my window, and my family's worked in Broward, so I know a little bit of TIN codes. He knocks on my window and goes, "Hey, there's Signal 7 up there." Oh, Signal 7's like dead on arrival. Like
That means death in Broward County.
Yeah, like it's not a good thing. So I start advising. I pull up and there's huge car fire. I get out. I couldn't see anybody inside. Start advising, tell them, Miami, give me rescue, give me, everything I need. I start seeing somebody like crawling out of like the back seat of this car that's completely engulfed in flames.
Oh.
So run over, I drag him out of the car. He was still on fire. I put him out, drag him a little bit further away, and I'm like, "Hey, is there anybody else in the car?" He goes, "Yeah, there's 2 more people." And mind you, this guy's burnt
Already, yeah.
burnt. His face is broken in from the crash,
Yeah.
just like completely. It's a bad day.
Yeah.
And I turn and run, start running to the car to go get the other 2. And at the time I didn't know, but they had just left the barbecue and they had propane tanks.
Oh, no.
In the back, in the trunk of the car. So the car was already on fire for a little while. And as I'm running up to the car, tanks explode. It just throws me back, and I'm just like, you can on the radio. I've heard the transmission. You hear it. There's nothing else I can do. That I can't get them. Just send rescue.
That's out of your hands at that point.
And then as I'm getting up, walking back to the guy that's sitting on the, I pulled out of the car. The 2 kids, the brother of the 2 kids that were in the car is running to the fire, and I literally just have to tackle him and hold him down until, they sent FHP from West Palm Beach, Doral, and at the time we were tied up with a homicide in the city, so everybody was tied up in the city. They sent county guys. They had to send everybody.
Wow.
So that was the first one, and then the second one was a DUI crash. I was working. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. I just made 2 arrests. Just dropped. I was gonna take them to TGK, the jail.
Yeah.
But they called me on the radio again. "Hey, we got more calls. Can you clear?" So yeah, I'll drop them off at the station, get back on the highway, and as I get in the highway again, construction had moved traffic down to 2 lanes. So I'm stuck in traffic, and out of nowhere, the car hits me at 70 miles an hour from behind. Completely destroys my car.
Right into the back, you rear end crash.
I had no idea what happened.
Yeah.
And
You got knocked out, or?
I didn't get knocked out, but I just don't remember.
Yeah.
All I remember was looking for my radio and kicking out the door, trying to get out of the car. And as soon as I get out of the car,
What kind of car did you drive?
it was
at the time?
Ford Taurus.
Taurus,
Yeah,
okay.
the Interceptors. Get out of the car, and if it wasn't for the partition in the back seat, everything was just squished.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
If the 2 people I had in my back seat, they would have died.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the partition, I would have died. And
Yeah.
guy was just plastered drunk.
DUI.
Yeah.
Big time.
DUI.
Survived.
Yep, not a scratch.
I was going to say, not even a scratch.
And I'm big on DUIs. I'm very involved with DUIs. I have a lot of DUI arrests. And
yeah.
for me to walk away from that crash with 1 scratch should never happen.
Yeah.
I should have died that day.
Yeah.
And my brother was there with me, and the second I saw him, I didn't look at the car the whole time. The second I saw him, he turned me around and was like, "That's your car," and I just broke down
Damn.
crying. And then the third one was Christmas Eve last year. It was another DUI crash. It hit me you're like 50 miles an hour right on my driver door. And like if
Damn.
it wasn't for the B pillar and like me seeing it and stepping on the gas an inch to the left, that would have been it.
Wow.
So, you believe that a higher power
Yeah, like all those
let you survive this
all
for a
those
reason?
things, yeah, all those things. Being a cop for that long,
Yeah.
seeing things that happen like that, no one usually walks away from it.
Yeah.
Like it's usually like a fatality or something like that. And for me to walk away with one scratch, you know, it never happens.
Bro,
So,
and you know what? Concussions are real too, bro.
Yeah.
And you getting popped on the head like that, you could your brain swells.
yeah, and like I have a very long history of concussions. Like the reason high school football has a concussion protocol was because I got knocked out in high school and they had no idea how bad it was. Like ended my season after like week 2, like that's what started the whole concussion protocol.
Wow.
And then as I went to college, it got worse. You know, the hits got harder, and there's a lot of things that, you know, set this up to happen that had nothing to do with me.
And then you said, you know, we were just dealing with Aubrey, and you were leaving the funeral.
Yeah, I was leaving the funeral when the attorney called me.
One of our officers, Aubrey Johnson,
Yeah,
don't know,
like
he
me
recently
and
passed.
Aubrey, like we were close. We worked together. We
Yeah.
were in the academy together.
Oh, wow.
We worked the street together. Like he was a friend.
Yeah.
Like and he was doing his job, doing the same thing we do every single day. And it took his life. And you know, that alone, it was just like, you know what, set it up. Like if something's gonna come from this, set it up, and then we'll see what happens.
So that's what I was saying. You were actually leaving the funeral,
Yeah,
and
when they
then
called.
and then that's, you know, emotional obviously that day, and
Yeah.
you were just like, you know what? Okay, I mean, this is very persistent, right? For like a
Yeah.
month they've been trying.
Yeah, like a month and a half.
So you're like, yeah, you know what? Let me just give it a shot.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
see what's
yeah.
going to happen.
And the attorneys pulled it off. Like the attorneys deserve everything in this one. Like they really cared about Michael and, you know, the justice system as a whole to find a solution that could, you know, help this kid.
So are you a yes man? Like
Nah.
opportunities come, like yeah.
No, I mean, the opportunity's there, then, you know, I'm gonna take it. But
Well, I mean, I asked you to do the podcast. You're like, yeah, let's go.
no, it was you sent me the text, and if it wasn't from my girlfriend,
Oh.
I was like, because ESPN had called. There was a bunch of different
Did
agencies.
you do ESPN yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I did the Herald, and the only reason I agreed to the Herald was because it was going to be a phone conference.
Yeah.
That was the only reason I agreed to it, and then PIO got involved.
Yeah.
And, you know, they moved it into the office, and then hey, show up in Class A's, and then there's a camera, and it was kind of
Oh my
like,
God.
like
That's
I
PIO.
didn't want this to happen, type of thing,
Yeah.
and that's how it all kind of played out, and
You could show up in Nike.
So-
You could show up in Nike with some
Yeah.
slides on in my crib, bro. You're good. Come on.
So,
up.
and then I was actually in the Keys at Michael's game,
Uh-huh.
and me and my girlfriend were eating, and Kenya from PIO called
Yeah.
and said that they got like 3 more requests, and sitting there and talking to my girlfriend, and she's like, he's gonna do it. Took the phone from me. He's like, he's gonna do it. Just send him the information. He'll be there. And I was just like, oh, okay, I'll be there.
But dude, you know what? I say do it, man. Get the story out there, and it's not just because just for the fame and everything, but it's a good story, and it might be like he did it. I'm okay with it. Some officers that are on the
Yeah.
board, like I don't want to,
Yeah.
get in and be called, soft or whatever. You
Yeah.
know, I'm trying to, save the world, and this guy. Maybe it helps other people, bro.
Yeah,
At
like
the end of the
and
day, you put it
that
out
was,
there.
one of the things my dad said is like, if you could change one person's life in this 20 years, then it's all worth it.
Yeah.
You did, bro.
You know, and just from this story getting out, everybody hearing what happened, because everything was supposed to be like under wraps. Like
Yeah.
nobody was supposed to find out. And the way this whole thing even took off was the attorneys were talking in the office with like the paralegals and letting them know like everything that happened in the resolution, and
Got leaked.
yeah, and one of them called the newspaper and told them, hey, you got to hear the story. And everyone that was involved in it didn't say a word, and it was someone listening
And
You got leaked, son?
from the cubicle over heard it, and
Realistically, it's
something,
good
so.
because I mean that's the understanding that look, I mean it's not what you see on the movies. It's
Yeah.
not what the people maybe that are protesting for change in law enforcement. Look, it's not all the same.
Yeah, and like at the end of the day, like we're all still humans. We also have families, like, and that's a lot of the way I police just from the street to even now, like this is someone's, brother, mother, father, like they have a family, like there's something going on, and it's emotions that are talking to you. It's not the person.
Yeah.
So if you can kind of quiet the emotions and, show them that you're a person, you'll have a positive outcome. Sometimes someone still may need to go to jail.
Yeah.
Or, to the hospital, or but at the end of the day, you're still a person.
And they give you, at least if you, and this is something that I've been teaching, is like, give those family members, and I ask first before I preface it, do you have a brother, do you have a sister, do you have a mom, do you have a dad? All right, now put that yourself in this situation. All right, your brother's going to jail. You would be hot. You'd be like, why is he going to jail? And if the officer is not talking to you or ignoring you and get out of here,
or at least not giving you like any time of day to talk to you, like, hey, listen, I can't talk to you right now, but give me 10 minutes. Wait right there. I'll
let me
tell
get
you
him in the
what's
car.
up.
Let me get him in the car safely.
So, and like one of
right
the
with
best
you.
thing, hey, listen, he has to go. Can you go get him shoes, a shirt, a jacket, something, and when you come back, I'll be able to let you know what's going on.
And then I'm going to give you the stuff that he's wearing, so that way you have it.
And that way, like, they see that you're a person and you have that human aspect to you. And
they might not like it.
Hook up your phone numbers and stuff like that, so he's got it to go with
write
him.
numbers on a piece of paper for him. And I think that with everything that's going on with, everything that happened and with the George Floyd case, like, it's anybody who saw that video knows that was wrong on every level. Like, that should have never happened.
Yeah.
But they forget that, hey, we're people too.
Yeah.
And once you realize that, hey, you're human, and hey, I'm just doing my job, the encounter changes.
That officer was a bad look for everybody, but that guy was a
lot of the situations that have been out, put on them, plastered all over the media, and where, unfortunately people have lost their lives, and it's
crazy, man.
Those are the bad days and the bad people who choose to make those decisions.
Yeah.
And and then the whole defunding the police thing coming from that is, no, you should give us more training.
Yeah.
And my department is, we have the opportunity to train a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Like, we get a lot more training than anyone else, and we almost never have incidences like that.
And I stand my ground with our department, man. They are light years above, ahead of a lot of agencies. Not maybe South Florida. Maybe I can't speak for every South Florida, but I know across the up in the northern states and everything, and different communities. I hear things and I'm like, well, we don't have chokeholds. No. We had cameras for a long time. We have this. We have that, and I just hats off to our agency.
Yeah. And like our agency has the one saying that verbal judo, like, you should be able to talk your way just about out of anything.
But I didn't think we would feel the repercussions of things that happen.
I didn't think so either, just because of how diverse South Florida is. Period. Like, you see people of all walks of life. Like, you have people coming from internationally, from all over the world. Like, you've met somebody from every corner of the world working in South Florida, just living in South Florida.
Yeah, and even at our agency, people from all over the place, different countries, they get their citizenship and they become law enforcement officers.
Like, I had a friend of mine in my academy. He came from Cuba, got a citizenship, and is now a police officer. Like, that's the American dream.
Yeah.
Like, that's 100% the American dream.
Ply, baby. We had Ply.
Officer Ply.
Yeah.
And like, it's that the things that are going on, and like, the racial issues that are going on, we never see down here. So when it came down here, it was kind of like a shock to us.
Yeah.
But we handled ourselves, and with the training that we have, and we handled ourselves almost perfectly. And it changed just from that incident alone. Changed the way everything was kind of going in the country. And then
man, and I know that you just mentioned those 3 times or the 3 times where you had to run in with that, but I know more instances that you've had as an officer out there, applying tourniquets, saving lives. I know that we could have talked a whole bunch about that stuff. I wanted to bring you on and speak on Michael, because we could have done a podcast on 1,000 different things that you've done already in your short career. I say short, you've been there 5 years, it's like 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years anywhere else.
5 years, anywhere else, like 5 years? No, man, 5 years.
5 years.
5 years is real.
5 years every day.
Yeah.
It's
So,
else.
and I just want to have you on speak about Michael and your relationship. And I think you're a role model, not only for officers, but just humans, bro, man. Like forgiveness is cool. That person, if you're willing to extend that bridge and that person's willing to come across it, then have a conversation, right?
Yeah, you'd be surprised what happens.
Yeah. So I'm gonna cheers it, man.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
I think we should have you back. Hey, when you get that podcast up and running, you coming back.
Definitely.
All right.
Calling all units, calling all units. Donut shop has a fresh dozen. Go ahead and take a 1040.